What's going on with it? Siccness.net. It's your boy Coop, man. We back at you with another interview, another person of power, and we still on the Atlanta rap scene, man. I want to go ahead and introduce y'all to DJ Scream. What's going on with you, G?
What's up, man? It's a wonderful, beautiful day. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Thank you for calling, man. Thank you for calling. Before we get into the interview, I've been asking everybody, the NFL season kicked off. You a Falcon fan?
Yeah, I rock with the Falcons, man. I'm really deep in that football. I do the fantasy football thing, the FanDuel, the DraftKings, and last week it was pretty cool, man. I threw back some brews and watched football for about 12 hours, so it was just beautiful, man. You know what I mean? But the Falcons, we took down the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of things about our gameplay, but there's a lot of things that disturb me, and I know it's a big game coming up this weekend. As a hometown person, man, you just hope for the best, man. We have ups and downs in sports, period. You know what I mean? But I think that the whole Atlanta sports scene is coming together. You see what the Hawks did last year. The Braves are generally pretty consistent, and I think we'll be realistic about it. It might not happen this year. But I think we're gonna bring home some type of title within the next 3 to 5 years, and one of the sports. You see playoffs for the Falcons this year? I see playoffs. I definitely see playoffs. Defense is a big part of football, and I think Dan Quinn came in and definitely made some defensive adjustments. Because I used to literally be breaking everything in the crib at the Falcons because of how they play defense. But I was pretty calm, like no defense is gonna be perfect, but I like the fact that y'all don't look like Boy Scouts out there. Y'all actually look like football players. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy with their progress thus far. But NFL, man, it's any given Sunday. Who knows what's going to happen? Like I don't think everybody knew that the year the Seahawks won Week 1 that they were going to win. And regardless of the legacy of the Patriots and Tom Brady last year, a lot of people had the Seahawks to do it back to back. Some people thought the Cowboys might do it. I personally thought it should have been the Packers. But that ain't the way it went down. So, it's any given Sunday with the football thing.
Indeed, man. You got the big single out produced by Corey Mo, Griffin Grain right now, man. Tearing up the internet in the streets. Are you happy about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's beautiful. The beautiful thing about it is Corey Mo is somebody that actually produced for UGK and Pimp C. So to have that authenticity of the type of nostalgic feel that I was trying to deliver to the consumer is just amazing. You know what I'm saying? The beat, the guitars, the bass line. Then, having Scotty ATL on there, who's up and coming cat out of Atlanta doing this thing real heavy. The legend 8-Ball. You know what I'm saying? I mean, anybody that knows about Southern music knows about 8-Ball and MJG. So to have 8-Ball on there is just humbling in itself. And Big Crit, his brand is amazing. His flow is amazing, and he blessed me as well. So it's a real fun record. I made it for people. We got a few weeks left in summer, and it's been out for a few weeks now, so they could just kind of ride. You know what I'm saying? And whatever they riding in, and just enjoy it. And a lot of people been hitting me like, yo, this record feel real good with the top down. You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing, man. And, the video's already out there. I'm working on that new EP as we speak. We're in the studio right now.
I gotta ask, is there a difference between doing a DJ album and a mixtape?
Absolutely. When you work on an album, it's a little more organized. There's a little more organization to the method. But I try not to take too much away from the mixtape feel because I come from mixtapes, and that's what people love and expect from me. But mixtapes have no rules. A lot of it working with music now, there's sometimes restraints because I have records on my hard drive that I feel that are amazing. But due to sample issues and sample restraints, stuff like that, like you got to follow the rules. If it was just a mixtape, I just put it out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm waiting and trying to see if I can get certain samples cleared and respecting people's estate and everything like that. So it definitely changes the feel of it, man. I mean, if people knew how much music was buried because of sample clearance issues, it's amazing, you know what I mean? But we got to respect those people that created their art first, and we got to respect their wishes, especially if they're not here no more,
Indeed. Coming from the mixtape scene, and I've seen a couple of interviews and stuff where you mentioned that's what opened the doors for you. Today in 2015, is the mixtape still relevant for the rap artists?
Yeah, I think, and I get asked that question a lot. Juicy J just dropped a mixtape album, however you want to say it. Rick Ross's Black Dollar is a mixtape album, whatever you want to call it. Drake initially announced. If you're reading this too late, because initially the concept of that was a mixtape. I can name so many more. Migos in the last 48 hours, Migos, Yo Gotti, Young Thug, and I'm forgetting somebody. Migos, Yo Gotti, Young Thug, and Rich Homie Quan all dropped mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? So the mixtape is actually very relevant. And I think it puts the artist in the mind frame of kind of like taking a behind the scenes feel or approach to creating their music with no restraints. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just the thing. Like, I think that music, when you talk about an album or the traditional method of putting out music, it's just too many restraints because there's just too many rules, and it takes away from the creativity of it. So when you let it breathe, you just kind of go in there like it's day one before you made any money, before you sold any albums, before you had any fans. That's the approach I think people should take to music, and it'll just be better all the way around.
Right. I seen you jokingly saying you tried your hand at rapping and it didn't quite work or whatever, and you went to DJ. What was the transition to making you say you didn't want to rap and wanted to pick up some turntables?
Well, I was so young. Well, basically what went on in my neighborhood was like everybody was rapping, so that's what you did. You rap, but there wasn't a lot of people in the neighborhood making beats, and there wasn't a lot of people in the neighborhood who actually had an outlet to let their music be heard. So me just being the thinker that I am, after my, I'll say 37-hour rap career, I was like, this shit is not for me. This is not a rapper. This is just not for me. And I instantly kind of just started gravitating to and taking a love and a liking to, the DJ. When I watched You on TV Raps, when I watched Juice, when I watched so many different music videos, saw DJ Premiers and Pete Rocks and Mr. DJ from Outkast and just all these DJs, man, I just was like, you know what? I think it just kind of became a love at first sight. Like, I want to be the person that delivers the music to the people. You know what I mean? Like, at the time, I couldn't stand unfinished product. I had to grow to have a love for unfinished product as a producer and as somebody that creates records. But at the time, I was like, I want to hear that shit when it's dope and play it for people. That's it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how that came about, man. It was just, at the time there was a lot of people rapping, and I commend artists and rappers and people singing everything because it's really saturated out there. So you really have to be dope back then, but you really have to be dope now because everybody, almost in every household, you can find some type of artist.
All right. Being that you are a mixtape DJ, you have a hot artist or an up and coming artist, and he bumps into you. He's like, man, Scream, I've been watching your work, or whatever. How would you go about? What's your process about picking which artists you want to endorse as far as being the hype man or the front man on their mixtape?
Well, I think it's about paying attention to the work ethic that the artist puts in. You got to do some work because it's your career. I'm only a cosign or a helper. You know what I mean? I'm only part of your team. So it always excites me when I see people working relentlessly and really kind of becoming selfless and really dedicating themselves to the craft because that's what I did. So that's generally the first step. Honestly, there's some people who are extremely talented that I don't like to work with because their work ethic and their attitude is not there. I'd rather work with a quote-unquote A- artist than an A++ artist. If the A- artist has the work ethic and the proper attitude because generally those artists last longer. You understand what I'm saying? So, work ethic is important. Innovation is important, meaning that you're striving to keep this culture going. You're striving to push the limits of this culture and striving to bring something new to the table. Those are the two things that excite me the most about Your artists now coming from the streets and just embracing street music. I want everybody to make it. I want everybody to see what it's like to, make it and have fans. And I kind of urge everybody to go hard and tell their story. But the reality is, even if you're like a certain type of person, you still have to understand music. And that's what a lot of sometimes street artists don't understand. Like, look, man, like, we already got a T.I., we already got a Jeezy, we already got a Gucci, we've already got you understand what I'm saying? Like, we already got these names. You can't rap like them. You can't, like, give people their sound. Like, give people your sound and your story. Like, your story can't be the same as those guys because everybody has a unique story. So that's kind of how I approach it.
I've seen something interesting, man. I've been doing my research, but you have said something interesting. I think it was with hip hop since 1980, since '87. You said about the importance of bloggers and DJs, and how a lot of artists aren't embracing those two vehicles for their career. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you meant by that?
Oh, yeah. Generally, man, I would probably tone down this answer, but, just catching me in the space that I'm in right now, just because I've been speaking on it and I've been open about it. This is the reality, man. Like, I have the utmost respect and admiration for artists who rap, who sing, who write, who compose, perform. I think that it's an amazing thing, but let's not forget like what a DJ has to go through to play your music for people and to promote your music and to show you love and help your career. Let's not forget, what a blogger has to go through, a person with a website has to go through to maintain that website. It's like maintaining a business. So we're not saying that artists need to go and, pay everybody because, we all make our money how we make our money. But what we're saying is like, if DJ Khaled held you down, do what Rick Ross did. Show love to DJ Khaled. You understand what I'm saying? If DJ Scream held you down, do what Gucci Mane and Shawty Lo and Rocco did, and a lot of others. And show DJ Scream love and let people know DJ Scream helped you down. You understand what I'm saying? If hip hop since 1987 held you down and posted you in some of the quote unquote bigger blogs wouldn't post you. If the Siccness held you down and gave you those posts when, you know what I mean, and showed you love, then I'm just a firm believer. Like, the same people, I got the same people around me now as a person that's been blessed, to create a 6-figure situation that I had when it was a 2-figure situation. You understand what I'm saying? So
right.
we can't empower each other in the culture if we don't give credit where credit is due. Like, you can't say, let me be politically correct. Like, okay, the Siccness held me down, and now this particular site is rocking with me, so fuck the Siccness. Now I got the big site. That's not what you do. We know you got to go to the big site. We know you got to go to the big game, the big platform, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because I really don't even look at it like, I look at it like everybody has their own fan base. So I'm going to look at the Siccness the same way I look at the particular broad. I'm going to give you the same amount of time and the same type of interview as X, Y, or Z. You understand what I'm saying? We have to empower each other in this culture. We got to get off the bullshit. We got to get off the egos. Listen, if you're an artist, show another artist love if you was inspired by them. Somebody wrote a hook for you. Somebody introduced you to somebody. Let's show each other love, man. Like, this is what hip hop is. If people, people from all over, like, I'm from Atlanta, but I know what hip hop is. You know what I mean? I've studied this my life. This is my bloodline. This is my life. Like, let's empower each other. Hip hop is about unity, period. So show love to the bloggers. That's what I'm saying. When it was weird at first with bloggers, because it's like, all right, I'm Scream. I get all the new music. And then I wake up. Now the bloggers get all the new music before me. You know what I mean? But I can't be a fuck nigga and be like, fuck the blogger. Nah, you know what? I'm going to pick up the phone and call bloggers and say, look, how can we collaborate and make this situation bigger? That's what you do. That's what you do in hip-hop. That's how it progresses. That's how it became, I think a 30, 40-year-old art form or wherever it is now. if we wanted to be another 30, 40 years, we got to show love. We got to take our power and our unity. We got to take our power back from some of these corporations and just create unity and just support each other. So that's the thing that frustrates me, because so many artists get on TV and on these platforms, and all of a sudden it's miraculous. It's just all them. Oh yeah, I did this. I did this. We appreciate your artwork. We appreciate what you did. You know what I'm saying? But even somebody as big as Michael Jackson or Prince, they'll give a lot of credit to their producers and their and the people that played instruments, the musicians on their music. They give a lot of credit to them, because they know, like, I'm definitely the talent, but you know, with talent, talent ain't enough. You gotta have more than talent. You gotta have a beat. Somebody gotta promote your music. Somebody gotta play your music. Somebody gotta interview you. Somebody gotta do this. Somebody gotta do that. Give credit to your fans. They bought your music. Don't give a bullshit dry ass, oh, thank you, fans. No. Give credit to your fans. Go out there and take some pictures and show love to your fans and touch the people. You know what I mean? I just fear that 10 years or 20 years from now, you know, something that's been around my whole life could be non-existent, because there's other art forms musically that are non-existent anymore. You know what I mean? There's no rock and roll no more. You know what I mean? People do it, but there's no rock and roll. There's no jazz no more. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we have to preserve this culture and this art form. It's really all we got.
Crazy. That's crazy. You spent a little time on Atlantic Records. I'm assuming you're no longer there. Why is that? What ultimately makes you leave the label?
Well, shouts to the homie Rick Ross. Rick Ross and Joey IE. Rick Ross initially, you know, he got with me and said, hey man, like, I want to get you with the team MMG. And then that was like a no-brainer because of the work ethic and the brand and everything. That was the easy part. But I also want to create a situation to make you bigger. I want to give you a major recording label situation to put out albums on an international scale, because regionally you're dominating, but you have to look to the future. He explained that to me. So I was all with it. So at the time it was Warner Brothers, you know what I'm saying? And some things happened in the urban department eventually, and it became Atlantic Records, and I'm cool with that. My separation from Atlantic Records, to be completely honest with you, is just a situation where, you know, being in business with them, we weren't able to get done what we needed to get done. You know what I mean? There's no ill will towards them. It's very difficult to do a DJ album. Like I said, you run across sample clearance issues. It's a compilation of 30 plus artists. It can be frustrating. It can be deflating at times. So much love and respect to Atlantic Records and Warner for even allowing me to be a part of that brand. Like, I think that, you know, there's only a handful of DJs that can say they've had a major label deal. You know what I mean? So it kind of is humbling just to know that I was a part of that. But it just came to the time and the space where I want to be able to put out Grip and Grain when I want to put it out. I want to be able to put my EP out when I want to put it out. I want to connect with the people directly, and I need to be able to make these decisions when I need to make these decisions. So it's like anything else. It was just time, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was no ill will. I still play their records. I still talk to a lot of people on the staff. It's all love, you know what I mean? It just came to the time and place where it's like, you know, me coming up watching Tony Draper, Jay Prince, and all these independents. I want to be an independent. I have to be able to, as DJ Scream, to call shots, whether they're right or wrong. I have to have that, like, and I had to collaborate with them and, you know, respect their decisions sometimes, because I was an artist on their label. So it just came time, you know what I'm saying? And much love and respect to them. We put out some dope singles. We weren't able to put out an album, but we put out some real dope singles, and it's just dope, you know what I'm saying? And of course, MMG Ross is the homie. I support anything he does. The affiliation still stands, and you know, that's the family, you know what I mean?
So you trailblazing on the independent level now. That's the road for you now.
Yeah. You know, something that's so dear to me is my own brand, and Ross Gibson, which is HoodRich. When you look at HoodRich Entertainment and HoodRich Production Group, when you look at, you know, a brand that put out like pretty much all of the classic street mixtapes for years and years and years consecutively, you have to respect that. When you look at HoodRich Production Group, which is less than 5 years old, that put up platinum hits like Cashing Out, Sasa DJ Spins, two of the biggest records this year, Commas, and Commons and Rich Homie Quan Flex. Shouts to DJ Spins. Shouts to Southside and Nitty too, their co-producers on that. When you look at records like Young Thug, Stoner, Rocco, you don't even know it. When you look at all these records, man, you just have to respect this HoodRich brand. And to be honest, like this is something I'm willing to go the distance for. You know what I'm saying? HoodRich Entertainment, HoodRich Production Group. So I have to stand up and represent that. It is just time for me to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to short anybody else. Like, I'm a supporter. Like I said, I show love to the culture. I'm a supporter. But now it's time for people to know, look, do you know that your favorite artist started here at HoodRich? Did you know that your favorite artist first ever mixtape or first ever radio interview was with DJ Scream at HoodRich? Do you know that first mixtape placement was with DJ Scream or someone in HoodRich? It's just time for people to know that, man. I didn't even want to wait till the top of the year. It's time now. You feel me? Like, it's time to go now. Like, people need to know what's up.
I dig it. So you mentioned in HoodRich Production, HoodRich Entertainment. You also have HoodRich Radio. Can you talk to us a little bit about the HoodRich brand? What is, I know you do production and a lot of, and like I said, radio, but what is the HoodRich? What's going on with the HoodRich brand?
Oh, it's wonderful, man. Shouts to the new wave of producers. Danny Wolf, he got a big record with McConan right now called Trust Me, Danny. Shouts to 1K HoodRich, new producer on the roster. Shouts to Dirty Costello, new producer on the roster. We got a dope artist by the name of Camino, which is our first venture kind of to the rhythmic world. You know what I mean? Big shout out to him. Some real dope music there. DJ Spins, killing the charts this year to Ty Dolla $ign, Future, Rich Homie Quan. 15 of the strongest DJs in hip hop. T.I.'s DJ, DJ MLK, DJ Scream, Rich Gang, DJ Swamp Izzo, Bankroll Fresh DJ, DJ Pretty Boy Tank, DJ Precious Kush, DJ for Oprah. You know what I mean? That's dope. 36 Mafia, the DJ, DJ Black. I don't want to, DJ Frank White in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? He discovered Dope B. Man, there's so many, man. DJ Lil King, that's the young boy, you know what I mean? Definitely doing his thing, known for breaking a lot of artists. And I could keep going. I don't want to forget no names. It's 15 of us. And, the blessing in HoodRich, man, is it's really authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a family structure there. We're all friends. Most of the time when I pick up the phone and call them or they call me, it's not a conversation about music. You know what I mean? But when we do decide that we're about to fuck with some music, it gets real passionate and it gets real intense because we love what we do. You know what I mean? So, the HoodRich brand is just that. Like, that's what we created to be, and we feel like we're still in primary stages. Having HoodRich DJs, HoodRich Productions, you know what I'm saying, and then having HoodRich Entertainment and having artists. It's just amazing, you know what I'm saying. So I look forward to what the next few years brings. The next few years brings, because we got some pretty big plans.
You just mentioned a whole lot of new up and coming producers. Today's game, as opposed to the 10, 15 years ago, you hit the studio, you get an artist, you say, man, this is what we're going to develop, and you would normally go to the go-to producers, the Jermaine Dupri, the Dr. Dre's, Storch, or someone like that. But a lot of people are seeming to find the new guys, and getting new sounds. Is that why you think a lot of people aren't, so to speak, using a lot of the older producers now because they want to develop a new sound with these newer guys?
Well, chemistry is everything, and I think that if you're 18 years old or 21 years old and you hang out and you frequent places with other 18 and 21 year olds, then the chemistry makes itself like it makes everything work a little better. If I'm an 18-year-old rapper, I look up and I admire Dr. Dre and say, hey, I would love to work with Dr. Dre. But realistically, I can't pick up the phone and work with Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? So I don't just sit there and wait till I meet Dr. Dre. I go find what's around me, my resources. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the new wave. Like, it has to continue to go. You know what I mean? Like, I always feel so blessed when the young people reach out to me and allow me to be a part of their mixtape projects. But I also tell them, case in point, the Migos mixtape, YRN, the first one that put them on the map. I said, all right, cool, I'm gonna do it. But I think you should have Ray G there and Corey B because these are the people that brought you to me. You feel what I'm saying? So I show that love back and show love to the youth. And at the end of the day, I don't know in the realm of production. I don't know. I can't speak for them. I don't know if Dr. Dre will work with DJ Spins. I don't know if Jermaine Dupri will work with DJ Spins. You understand what I'm saying? I would hope so. You know what I mean? Because it would be dope. But if not, then Spins ain't doing pretty damn bad himself. He ain't doing that bad himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he putting them points up. So I think it's just, you got to really look at what it is, man. Like, we hear these dance records from certain artists and this, that, and the third. A lot of times, think about hip hop. If you trace the story of Eric B. and Rakim and EP&D and what have you, like, these people met in their hoods or in their high schools or around the way. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just time and the culture taking its course, doing its natural progression. Like, everybody wants to work with Jay-Z, right? If you're a rapper, you gotta wait till that moment to where you're able to work with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure there was a particular time and point in life where, Ross and Jeezy was like, I want to work with Jay-Z. It wasn't time yet. So they had to work with the people and what they had around them and make the dopest shit so that it would catch Jay-Z's ear and he'll say, oh, you know what? I want to work with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to jump on that. I want to be a part of this new, young energy that they're bringing to the table. So that's all it really is, man. I think it's no discredit to none of them because your Timberlands, your Jermaine Dupri's, your Dr. Dre's, your so many of these people are just remarkably legendary, and what they've accomplished is just outstanding, for lack of better words. But when the time comes for that collaboration, then it's gonna come. You know what I mean?
Right. I mentioned HoodRich Radio earlier. You've done pretty much them all, from terrestrial radio to satellite radio. We have a big emergence of podcasts and things like that popping up. Satellite internet radio versus terrestrial radio. What is the future?
The future is definitely in the phone. I think people are coming to a point where they want to kind of dictate how they hear music and what sequence they hear it and what time they hear it and to what capacity they hear it. So, from an information-based terrestrial radio is always going to be very relevant from an information base. You know what I mean? Satellite radio came along and provided something that terrestrial radio couldn't, which was commercial-free radio. So I think that excited a lot of people. At this point, with the growth of a lot of apps and streaming services and this, that, and the third, I see a lot of people kind of leaning towards that. The future, you can never, I can't really say with technology, but I think that, satellite and terrestrial will still be there. But I just think that, people are just going to have choices now, which is dope. I believe in choice. So, I kind of embrace all of it. You know what I mean? I've been kind of working on a podcast situation myself, you know what I mean, so that people can tune in and hear me talk for an hour. A lot of people, in radio, the format of it is like music, talk, music, talk, music, talk. But a lot of people be like, man, bro, we want to hear what you really got to say, Scream. Like, you need a talk show. And people have been saying that for a while, so I'm kind of like building the foundation of moving into having a podcast or some type of talk radio, you know what I mean, and still keeping my hands, of course, on HoodRich Radio, which is my baby, which is currently on satellite and terrestrial radio. So I'm the type of person that kind of wants to do it all and satisfy every corner of the fan base,
Right. Like you were mentioning, everything's about timing and stuff. Hip hop came from the Mecca, from the East Coast. At one time, it had a big influence on the entire culture. Then you had West Coast over here on the West Coast. Then it had its influence on the entire culture. Now the South is having its influence on the culture. How do you feel about the South's influence on hip hop today?
I mean, as somebody from the South, man, I love it. I think that a lot of the fact that there's kind of been a stronghold on the South putting out so much music, it was because you have to look at the territory. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana. Like, it's a lot of territory. And, Atlanta kind of being the mecca of it, there's a lot of opportunity there for artists. But, the South is just a place if you come to the South, if you've never been or you come, like, it's just a whole different vibe. It's home for me. I love the West Coast. I love the Bay Area. Like, I don't think there's nowhere in the world like the Bay Area, and I've been all around the world. Like, major fan of when the hyphy movement was going on. Always been a fan of like 40. Matt Dre, rest in peace, Matt Dre, and on the East Coast, it's nothing like New York City. When you get off that plane and you just put your feet on that concrete, man, there's nothing like it. Like, these places are all unique, but it started in New York. There's still really a lot of dope New York artists, but I think what's going on there is like the music is going through some type of change. You know what I'm saying? And they're still putting out a lot of dope artists. And it takes a powerful producer. Mustard kind of opened up the entire door for people to pay attention to West Coast music, because it's not like West Coast music ever went anywhere. Like, there was always dope shit going on and coming out of the West Coast that I listened to. Like, I've been listening to Nipsey for a long time. But I think with and YG to add to that. But I think what happened is that producer just makes it, if the producer has the proper vision, they can make it a national situation where it's like, all right, a producer understands, a good producer, like, I have to be able to produce on every level and every scale, but I have to be able to make hits. You understand what I'm saying? So when you kind of look at, the producers in the South and how they've been putting up so many hits, the hit allows you to go listen to that body of work. You know what I'm saying? It kind of draws you in. So Mustard was able to do that. I like Jaleel Beats a lot on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? He can give you an album joint or he can give you a single. You know what I'm saying? So I have to credit that a lot to the production of each region. And as far as the South is concerned, getting back, I guess, to the original topic, man, it's just so many dope producers. And I think that one person that kind of opened it up for the world that doesn't get enough credit for it was Lil Jon. And the run that he had, like, I think he really took the South to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Because he made so many hits and dominated for that time that he dominated. You know what I mean?
Indeed. You mentioned a lot of West Coast. You mentioned DJ Mustard and a few other West Coast. Being a DJ, I know you got to check for a wide variety of artists and music content, but is there anybody on the West Coast you're checking out right now?
Man, it's so much. I don't want to forget nobody. To be completely honest with you, for the type of music that that motivates me in the gym or just riding, I do listen to a lot of Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? Because he preaches the hustle, so it's like the gospel to me. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely listen to a lot of Nipsey. As a fan of street music, like again, I'll say YG. Dom, you know what I mean? I like Dom. You know what I mean? Dom is dope. And my head is cloudy, man. There's so many more, man. My brain is one big computer full of music. It's just not coming to me. But I think what I like about West Coast music is it's West Coast music. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a lot of some Atlanta artists start making like West Coast feeling type of records. You know what I mean? And New York people made Southern records, and West Coast people made East Coast records. It just kind of all goes in a circle, but you just know when it's West Coast. You know what I mean? The lingo, when you're talking about certain things that can go on in California, that's what kind of like excites me about West Coast music. And then when I'm actually able to come there and experience, Roscoe's, or experience being at the Staples Center, checking out a basketball game, or just, kind of rolling past the hoods in LA. I'm not going to say being in them, but, rolling past the hoods in LA and just kind of seeing like the different neighborhoods and how everything can change within one block. You know what I mean? Like, it's just dope, man. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to the West Coast, man. I've been a fan since, actually, Lester Chronic, I think, Lester Chronic and NWA, I used to be real big into like hieroglyphics. You know what I'm saying? I had a chance to run into Raz Cass last year, and And I just had to salute him. He didn't really know who I was. And I was like, yo, bro, listen, man, I feel like you one of the dopest ever. Whether they put it on paper or not, I feel like you one of the dopest ever, you know what I mean? And he really fucked with it and showed love back and everything. And it's just a lot of love for the West Coast. You know, the West and before we could all kind of coexist, you know, the West and the South always kind of were one anyway. You know what I mean? Too Short moved to Atlanta, and we embraced him like he was from here. Still do. So, you know, big shout out to the West Coast, man. Every coast.
Indeed, indeed. Man, being that you have your hands both hands to the bottom of the pot, from DJing to hosting your own radio show to even running, you know, your own production company and things like that. So I know you're personally dealing with a whole lot of artists, but who are some of the, you know, a few of your favorites that you like dealing with?
It's kind of hard to say, man. I can only think of what's on my brain, man. I was actually and I just did a project on a guy from out west named Hefner Guap. He's super dope, man. He's from the West Coast. He spent some time in New York, and he's in Atlanta now making music. Man, it's just so many artists, bro. Like, it's just I kind of see the good in everybody. You know what I'm saying? One of our own, HoodRich Pablo Juan, man, for him to have such a buzz going on in Atlanta is real dope right now. Like, Kickstand, that's HoodRich artist as well. For them to have those buzzes going on, coming from where they come from, and to see them actually, you know, progressing and doing something positive with music is dope. Man, it's just too many, man. It's just too much music. But you know, if you check out my site or you check out, you know, like the Live Mixtape site, you can kind of see the projects that I've worked on and working on. And the beautiful thing I think is about Scream is that you'll get a Juicy J tape from a major artist, but at the same time, I'll come back 2 weeks later and just give you some dope shit, some shit artists you might not have ever heard of. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'll just give you some dope shit. So there's so many independents. I don't want to get buried and forget nobody, but just follow me. You check me out, and you can kind of see how I rock and what I like to bring to the table.
Indeed, man. What is you know, it's not always happy moments in this hip hop. So what is the one major thing you dislike most about the industry right now?
Social media. I think that you know, when I was coming up in the 90s, I had to wait for Source magazine or whatever magazine it may be to kind of read up on the artist. But, you know, as an artist and as a human being, you have different feelings, different emotions, and you go through swings, ups, downs, lefts, rights, and all that. And it's so easy for an artist to go to social media and express or portray themselves, which I think is cool. But I think it kind of takes away from the mystique of the artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think when you see that Kendrick Lamar doesn't do a lot of social network interaction, and Drake doesn't, and J. Cole doesn't, I think that's why people kind of make a bigger deal about them sometimes. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, I'm about the music. You know what I mean? Like, granted, don't get me wrong. Like, if an artist is a thorough, genuine person and a good person, then that helps. But I'm really about the music. So now, like, social media, any mistake that an artist makes is just in 2 seconds. Oh, this nigga had a booger in his nose. Oh, who gives a fuck? He made dope shit. Oh, this nigga had a fucking French fry fucking ketchup stain on his shirt. That nigga whack. Like, no, he's not whack because he's human. Like, he's human. And I interact with social media because I have to. I'm in a place where I promote other artists, this and the third. But if I have my way, man, if I can get to a particular space of interacting with fans and people without social media, I wouldn't participate. I think that's the most frustrating part of it for me. Like, social media is tough, man. It's a tough one, and I think artists don't know, and people don't know. Like, it's definitely a plus because you can deliver your music in moments, right? But it's also a negative because, like, one false move and they're aiming at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of whack. Like, you go out, you try to be yourself. someone takes a picture of you in an awkward moment, or you shake a female's hand or give her a hug, and now you dating and y'all fucking. Like, it's just kind of whack, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't want to trash social media completely because it's done wonders for me, and I have a big following on there. But I just say to artists, man, like, not even to artists, because artists got to be human. I say to people, like, social media is there for you to interact and know more about your artist. It's not there for you to just consistently go and try to tear them down. That's just whack, you know what I'm saying? So let's focus on the music. Like, if the music is whack, let's say the music is whack. And let's just explore it on a completely different scale. There's motherfuckers out there that are famous on social media, and their music is whack. The people love them. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these people make top 10 lists because they're popping on social media. They take great photos. Nah, you need to be on the fashion top 10 list, man. That shit ain't got nothing to do with music. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just me speaking, and that's just my opinion on it. I do want to give props to social media. I don't want to seem like I'm down in it. I just think that a lot of the hip hop culture, a lot of the musical culture, and as a whole, I think we misuse social media for what it should really be.
I was talking to DJ Jelly last week, and we were talking about reality TV, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, things like that.
Right.
Are you a fan of these type of shows?
I personally don't watch them. As a hustler, you know, get your money. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's limitations, a lot of limitations on what I'm gonna do for money. But as a hustler, you know, go get your money. As an Atlanta tastemaker, I've clearly made it known on my radio show and otherwise, like, that is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? There's aspects of Atlanta that are depicted in those reality shows that are accurate, but for the most part, that's not Atlanta. So don't just come thinking that everybody in Atlanta act like that. You know, that's the thing. And you know, you got a certain amount of people on the show that's not even from Atlanta, which is cool. It's fine. But, you know, take it for what it is. It's entertainment. Let it entertain you, get your shits and giggles, but that ain't Atlanta. Like, when you come to Atlanta and see what Atlanta is, it's not that. There are parts of Atlanta that's like that. There are certain aspects of it, but it's not that. You know what I'm saying? So let's just make that clear, you know what I mean? But I don't knock it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's entertainment. You have to look at it for what it is. I've never taken reality TV as that reality TV. I never took Flavor of Love as, oh, this is real. I never took The Real World as, oh, this is real. No, this shit is on TV. If it's on TV, there's a 90+% chance the shit is fake. You feel me? It is what it is.
You, like I said earlier, you got both hands to the bottom of the pot. Could this be a possibility for you next, TV?
TV would be wonderful, man, but, you know, it'd have to be on my accord. I couldn't do a reality show regardless of what the numbers are and compromise who I am and compromise what the HoodRich brand is. Unless it was really a reality TV show and y'all want to put cameras on what we do, but I don't think anybody wants to do that. That could be too touchy, you know what I mean? It could be too intense for people. So, you know, the TV screen is dope, man. Just shooting music videos and being on TV and seeing the response from the fans is dope, but, you know, it had to kind of be on my terms. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't, you know, if I'm just acting, it's a movie, then absolutely, you know, you have a script and you follow the script and it is what it is. But, you know, I pride myself on being able to walk around and everywhere I go. So it just has to be limitations and there has to be limitations to what I will and won't do. You know what I mean?
Oh man, what's next? What's next for you, Screen? What you got coming up, man?
I want everybody to enjoy Grip and Grain, and I want everybody to definitely be on the lookout for my new EP that I'm working on. I'm gonna announce the name and how we're gonna deliver it to the world real soon. And you know, just stay in tune with anything HoodRich, man. Anytime you see that brand with this HoodRich Radio, the radio show and series, you know, Hot 107.9 Atlanta. You know, if you see HoodRich Production Group, you know, producers, that HPG brand, if you see that HoodRich logo or anything, just pay attention to the brand, and we're really going hard with that, and we really want to let people know what it is from top to bottom. And, you know, and HoodRich and Scream included, man, we just appreciate all the support for, I don't even know how long it's been now, but it's been a long time. And just know that we wake up every day, including myself, man. We work real hard to, you know, deliver people great music and just great product, you know what I mean, from top to bottom. And once again, man, salute to the Siccness for taking the time out to interview Screen. Shouts to the whole West Coast. And we just got a lot of cool things coming up in 2016, man. I want everybody to stay in tune, dude.
Indeed, man. One last question, man. I'll try to get everybody I interview who got some substance in this culture. If you can give some game to any up and coming artists or just anybody in the music field trying to, you know, make their next move, get to the next step, what would it be?
Man, you know, it's easier said than done, but just embrace the culture and don't make it don't let it just be about what you want out once you want out of it, man. Like, embrace it, have fun with it, make sure it's something that you love, make sure that you're contributing to the culture and not taking away from it. And just stay focused, man. You know, and pray to focus and just be as genuine as possible, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I told this story to some college kids about 3 weeks ago. When you don't have any money in your pocket, it's kind of hard to hear all this shit that Scream is saying. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, you know, it's like, oh, you want me to do all this shit, but I ain't getting no money. And, you know, if you stay true, if you really focus, the money is going to come. Everybody's not going to be able to be a rapper. Everybody's not going to be able to be the producer, but I'm a firm believer that at some capacity, you can be a part of rap or hip-hop music. We need bloggers. We need DJs. We need lawyers, we need doctors, we need financial advisors, we need all type of stuff in this industry, in this culture. So just focus, man, and do it and love it. And even if being that rapper on that stage is not what you end up being, there's still so many opportunities to be a part of this, you know what I'm saying, from writers, so many writers that in hip hop now that are doing good, and, you know, they might not be famous, but hey, some good living, you know what I'm saying, and promoters and marketers and everything like that. So just kind of look at the whole scale. You know what I mean? You know, me, somebody, I was blessed and fortunate to become one of the bigger DJs. But, you know, as a business person, I always told myself, like, look, if I got to be a manager, if I got to do this, and I've done all that. You know what I mean? I've done management, I've done this, I've done marketing, I've done all of it. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be a part of the culture first. If I can be a part as DJ Scream, then that's just a blessing. That's a plus, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, make yourself a part of the culture any way you can. And that might actually help you in other respects, because as a DJ, it's making it easier for me now as a producer and an executive producer, because I understand quality control and everything. So stay focused, man, and pay attention to everything and all your surroundings and what's going on as far as your opportunities, and don't limit yourself. Hey, check it, DJ Scream, HoodRich representative for life, one time rocking out with www.thesiccness.net, man. You see what they doing out here? 100.